I mean, first of all, like, how does it feel watching that? Are you desensitized to it yet? Are you nose blind to the stench coming off your team yet? Because I know you've seen some stuff now. And as crazy and as absurd as last night was, you got to be getting used to it, right? In fact, you got to be used to it at this point. I guess what I'm trying to ask Mafia is, what is your rage level at right now? Because I know how much you care. I know how badly you want it. I know how much you love that team. Where are you on that scale? Like on this end of the spectrum, hopeless, resignation, all the way to full-on Rick in Buffalo rage.
I called for McDermott's head after the playoff loss against KC, but now I'm demanding for it.
Like that dude, he was way out in front of it, wasn't he? He was the first guy on this show saying it. When most were still defending him, McDermott, Rick was the one saying, man, I want that guy's head. I want that dude's head. It's on him. It's on him. Get me his head. You know, don't get me wrong. Y'all have every right to be right there with Rick at level 100 on the rage scale now. Keep in mind, when he made that comment, many of you did not agree. I would imagine almost every last one of you members of the Mafia agrees now. I also understand that it's hard to get that worked up when you've seen that same movie over and over and over and over again. In fact, you could argue that that game last night was pretty much exactly what you would and should expect from this Bills team. Remember, Josh Allen actually summed it up best. But he summed it up best 2.5 months ago. Not last night, but 2.5 months ago. Remember that hideous opening week loss to the Jets? Remember what Josh Allen said. And again, this was back after the opening week loss. That tells you everything you need to know. That was opening night. He said, same bleep, same thing. It feels eerily similar to last year. But he was talking about the struggles with the Jets right there. He wasn't talking about last night. Here we are 10 games later, and the same exact sentiments still apply to this team. When he made those comments, he was saying the same exact sentiments go back to last year. And now fast forward 10 games ahead, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. In fact, it's worse. It's worse because nothing has changed. And it feels worse. Something about last night felt like the beginning of the end, didn't it? The beginning of the end. Maybe it's not necessarily the end of this team's Super Bowl window because you still have Josh Allen, which I'll get to in a minute. Maybe not the beginning of the end, or maybe the Super Bowl window didn't slam shut, but it might have slammed shut for Sean McDermott. Now, you know I'm not trying to take anybody's job away. Although McDermott did take somebody else's job away. I'll get there in a minute. But there's going to be speculation about your job and how hot your seat is when you put 12 men on the field to block a potentially game-winning field goal that was missed. And you end up losing that game because of it. They're going to call for your head after something like that, no matter who you are. But especially if it's far from the first time you have blown a game in seemingly impossible fashion. In fact, impossibly devastating losses are almost becoming the signature of the Sean McDermott era. And that pretty much is the worst signature you can have. There have been way too many games under this regime that have ended with broadcasters in utter disbelief at how the Bills just managed to snatch a defeat from the jaws of victory yet again. 12 men on the field. I mean, seriously? After 13 seconds. Mafia! After 13 seconds, now we have 12 men, 13 seconds, and now 12 men. That right there is some Raider bleep. Oh, and by the way, the Bills now have the same record as the Raiders. And they actually have a worse record versus AFC teams than the worst team in the AFC, the Patriots. Mafia, this is what we're talking about. Buffalo also took 2 timeouts in the lead up to that field goal miss. They could not have had more time to figure out how to jog 11 guys out there to stand around and watch a field goal sail wide right and win that game. A game they did not deserve to win in the first place. A game that they actually appeared to have won that they had no business winning. And yet still somehow, some way, they did one of the dumbest things ever to lose a game. A game they just won that they had to have. 12 men? How the hell could that possibly happen? Just put 11 guys out there. None of them had to do a damn thing except line up. And you steal a game that you have no business winning. All you needed to do was have fewer than 12 men on the field in that game. In the most important moment of the game, just have less than 12 guys out there and you win. I mean, undisciplined much? Dysfunctional much? I'm not going to say that McDermott single-handedly cost them that game, but hell yes, he's going to wear that. Hell yes, he should wear that. Hell yes, that seat is getting hotter and hotter. Hell yes, he has to do something to deflect the criticism. And hell yes, I would be very concerned right now if I were offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. Wait a minute, Alvin. Breaking news. I said that I would be very concerned right now if I were offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. Go ahead all together now. If you're getting ready to go to work,
ready for work right now,
you are not offense coordinator Ken Dorsey.
You're getting ready for work right now.
You are not Ken Dorsey. Because Adam Schefter tweeted earlier this morning that Dorsey has already been broken off. If you're getting ready for work right now, you are not Ken Dorsey.
If you're getting ready for work right now, then you're probably not Doug Collins.
Listen, here's the thing. Right about now, he's unemployed. Not a shock. The Bills are just another team, and not a very good one at that. And now he's gone. Hey, Sean, I see you working. There's some solid CYAing. That should buy you what? I don't know, a few more hours? Look, somebody was getting rolled over that debacle last night and for what that team has become. McDermott, though, is just doing what Chris Carter told him to do. You know, find himself a fall guy.
You got to have a fall guy in the crew.
He's got one. Dorsey. Dorsey is the fall guy in the crew. Hey, Bills fan, like, I know that you hated that guy. And I know that you wanted Ken Dorsey fired for weeks. I know this has been an ongoing thing. But you can't blame 13 seconds on Dorsey. And again, how do you go from being a legitimate Super Bowl contender to, well, this? And how is this bleep still happening under Sean McDermott? How is this team this undisciplined? How did this team not get cleaned up after the 13 seconds fiasco? How was that not the toughest lesson ever about closing out games? How are you still finding new and insane ways to lose games? How did you not learn anything from that? And just when you think that he and they can't look any worse, check out McDermott explaining after the game that they specifically practiced for this very scenario in the week leading up to the game. It's inexcusable no matter what, but even more inexcusable that you practiced multiple times for that very same thing, and it still didn't matter. In fact, it's more than inexcusable. It's borderline fireable.
Borderline erotic.
There's nothing erotic about that, except for the opposition. It's very erotic if you're a Bronco. It's very erotic if you're anybody lining up against the Bills late in a tight game. Then it's extremely erotic.
Let's ride. Broncos country. Let's ride.
You know what's not erotic? The way this team finishes games. The way this team finishes games, it's almost like McDermott is trying to get fired. McDermott must think he's got some kind of Jimbo Fisher buyout or something. Look, I'm not trying to put this all on McDermott because it's not all on McDermott, even though he already fired Dorsey to cover his own back. You know what would help? It would certainly help if Josh Allen would stop throwing it to the other team. It would certainly help if Josh Allen would stop putting it on the ground. It would certainly help if Josh Allen would stop reverting back to forcing things that aren't there and trying to do too much. Fact is, He is not taking care of the ball. And he is hurting the team. He leads the league in interceptions. He leads the league in turnovers. And it's not just because of injuries or a lack of weapons around him and the fact that he needs to win games all by himself. He's making bad decisions again, and it is hurting the Bills, period. I'm not saying it's all on him. It's not all on him. He's not the one who let a receiver get behind him late in the game and then run into him. So, no, it's not obviously all on Josh Allen. Just don't tell me that none of it is on him. Because he's not taking care of the ball, and it is hurting the team. And his take that south of Knicks is better than Javier's is still hurting me. His play is hurting his team, and his take on Mexican restaurants is hurting me.
Have you been to Javier's?
Oh, yeah. I've been a few times.
All right, so really quickly, so they know, because all I do is talk about Javier, my guy Javier. Does this live up to the hype? Is that not the best place?
I don't know about the best place, but it's up there.
Uh-huh.
Have you tried south of Knicks?
I have not.
Okay, there's one in Laguna, and then there's one in San Clemente.
Oh, yeah, no, okay, yes. Okay. Yes, I have. In Laguna, I have.
I love Javier's, but I think I might take south of Knicks over it. I might be crazy, though.
Respectfully, dude, you'd be wrong, but you are entitled to your choice no matter how wrong it is, dude, but I appreciate it.
I'll let you win this one.
Right, like you guys let Denver win last night. Again, not all on Josh, but don't tell me that none of it's on Josh. Don't do that. He's not taking care of the ball. Again, he leads the league in turnovers. He leads the league in picks. You know who actually is playing much better? Russet. Potato Wilson. In fact, Russet is playing so well, I might have to drop the potato gloss. Because he no longer looks like a sack of potatoes out there. Now, I'm not saying he looks like prime Russ in Seattle. He's not that. But he also looks much better than that sack of potatoes in cleats that he was previously. Believe it or not, this dude actually has a better passer rating than C.J. Stroud right now. And really, nobody is playing better than Stroud. You could almost say, Broncos country, that you're finally riding. You're finally riding with Russet. And how about Sean Payton? Got to give Sean Payton some credit for taking this team into Buffalo and grinding out that comeback win in primetime, no matter how it looked. And for doing it straight off beating Kansas City. And for running off 3 dubs in a row when it looked like Denver was headed right off the nearest cliff. Ever since that utter and historic decimation in Miami, this has been a different football team. They're 4-2 since that utter and historic decimation in Miami. There is actual, tangible progress being made in Denver. Got to acknowledge that. Have to give them credit. Because it's the exact opposite feeling that they have there from what the Mafia has right now. You know what always makes everything better, though? Like I said yesterday, like I always say, I'm here to make things better. I'm the guy that looks at the glass being half full. I'm looking for the positive in everything. You know what makes things better? Well, besides me. You know what makes everything better? Social media drama. And you know what's even better than social media drama? Diggs family drama. I love these guys. I really do. It really was the perfect ending to that bleep storm last night when Trayvon Diggs, who's out for the year, Trayvon Diggs hopped onto the X to take up for his bro Steph by doing this. Quote, man, 14, got to get up out of there. At Trayvon Diggs on the X, quote, man, 14, got to get up out of there. Uh-oh. But then again, like they said, same bleep, different day. Horrible late game coaching, totally out of control quarterbacking, and drama with the star wide receiver. Same as it ever was, which is why I'm pretty curious. Where are you at, Mafia? Are you in shock? Are you furious? Are you confused? Are you despondent? Are you resigned to your fate? As always is the answer, yes. I want to hear from you today. Even if you have all reached Rick in Buffalo level rage. because unless I'm mistaken, unless this is a national holiday, he can't break away from his post in school, so you got to call instead. Are you feeling this level of rage?
I called for McDermott's head after the playoff loss against KC, but now I'm demanding for it. And how in the hell does the head coach not grab every single DB by the face mask before that 4th and 18 prayer and scream, "Knock it down or pack your effing bags"? Time for me to throw on the headset, Jim. I'll turn this damn thing around in a friggin' flash. Now you'll have to forgive me for my raspy voice, Jim. I spent all day at the stadium yesterday yelling at people, most notably Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. This idiot calls plays like he's hammered playing Super Tecmo Bowl at 3 in the morning. Okay, Josh, drop back, heave it as far as you can, and we'll pray for a miraculous leaping catch. Hey, Waldo, feel free to mix in a crossing route, well-designed screen, or anything else that doesn't take 3 years to develop.
Is any of that wrong? Like, he could have made that call this morning and got racked, and it would have been a great call. Except he made that call months ago. Listen, forget about a Vince Lombardi trophy. Another loss like that, and why wouldn't there be another loss like that? Because it keeps happening over and over again. That's my whole point. Why are they not fixing this? So there will be another loss like that, Mafia. You know there will. Another bad loss like that, and it's coming. Then you're that much closer to a Caleb Williams or a Drake May lottery ticket. I'm not saying you replace Josh Allen. Far from it. I'm just saying you'll be in position to get a lottery ticket to do what you want. And if that's too ridiculous,
Kind of ridiculous.
maybe you take a Marvin Harrison Jr. flyer. You know, what with Stephon, if he follows his bro's advice and he, quote, gets up out of there. And if you think Stephon's brother had a change of heart a day later, like it was just a heat of the moment X that he thumbed out, think again. Trayvon X'd, quote, let's not forget, he didn't start going off till bro got there. End of quote. Hey, Bills fan, the team that just beat you, although improved, that team, though, the Dolphins dropped a 70 burger on them. Good luck making any sense of that. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to be the first to know when we do upload a new video.